Hey guys, Takuyasugi here, going to be going over my top 5 for the Xbox E3 2017 conference here today. The conference was pretty good. I thought it was pretty entertaining. There was a few games I thought were kind of bleh, which, you know, Sea of Thieves. But there was a lot of good games that they showed, and they weren't all exclusives either, so I got some hope for the PC gaming market coming up, courtesy of Xbox One. Speaking of which, Xbox One X, pretty silly name. But yeah, here's my top 5. So number 5, I would have to say Super Lucky's Tale. I think that was the name of it, entire name of it. I thought this was a charming looking game. You know, they had that one game that just got out of Kickstarter and released called Yooka-Laylee or something. I heard a lot of bad things about that. I wasn't too interested in it, but this looks really nice and colorful. Looked pretty charming, looked pretty creative and everything. I thought it was a new Sonic game at first when it first popped up on the screen. I thought that was Tails. I was like, Sonic? And then I was thinking, Conquer? It's like, no, it's a new game, and it's a neat looking little platformer. Looks pretty cute, so it looks, you know, very age friendly and everything, so a lot of people were knocking at the cutesy factor and everything, but, you know, kids need games too. And I'm sure, you know, my friend was saying millennials will like it too for the nostalgia, and I agree. I think it's got that whole fulfilling nostalgic kind of feel to it. It looks nice. So my number 4 would have to be State of Decay 2, and, you know, it's like, oh, another zombie game. But I played State of Decay 1, and I was pretty entertained by it. I was having a good time with State of Decay 1, and I kept looking like, does this game have multiplayer? And, you know, that was the key factor of me really buying into a State of Decay 2 was there actually being some multiplayer aspect to it, because it's the kind of game I would really like to play with my friends and enjoy with my friends and just kind of have a good time with them. And if it didn't have multiplayer, it would have been like a thumbs down big time for me, even if it would have made some amazing improvements and been fun still. It's one of those kinds of games that you really want multiplayer in, but it didn't have before. But thankfully, it has it now, so that's what makes it my number 4. And for my number 3, I'm going to have to go with Metro Exodus. You know, I'm an FPS kind of fan. I know I play fighting games too, and RPG, MMO. I've actually slowed down the MMOs, but I digress. But I thought Metro Exodus looked a lot of fun. I did play the first one. I haven't played the second one, Last Light. The first one was a lot of fun for me. I didn't even get the remastered version yet. It's definitely on my to-do list to actually play the second one and maybe replay the first as a remastered version that they came out with. I think I can get it pretty cheap too, and it's pretty reasonably priced. But yeah, the game looked great. You had some really nice graphics. Looked pretty well paced. It didn't look super slow paced. It looked pretty you know, fast paced with the rats jumping out at you and having to shoot them pretty quickly. The guy in the video was pretty good, it seemed like. The crossbow animation with pulling out the bolt from the little rat thing's neck, that was really cool looking. That was really slick looking. And then the whole zip line thing, I thought that was pretty amazing. So yeah, Metro Exodus is my number 3. And for my number 2, this was a really short trailer. Dragonball FighterZ with the Z, Dragonball FighterZ. It's a ArcSys game who've made, you know, Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear. 3v3 style DBZ fighting game. It looks amazing. So, you know, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, eat your heart out. I think this is gonna, you know, crush that game. It looked really nice. It's so beautiful and looks so nice and fast-paced, and it's gonna be a deep system too, considering its Arc system works. So yeah, number 2, Dragon Ball FighterZ. And for number 1, I kind of wanted to choose Dragon Ball FighterZ for my number 1, but it didn't really show me enough. It was just a brief glimpse at it. And Anthem. This is my number 1, is Anthem. It has that whole Destiny kind of feel, but it feels more rugged, more polished, I guess you would say. It looks a lot more interesting to me. It has a lot more weighty kind of feeling, a nice weighty, brutal kind of feeling to it. The environments remind me of, what is that game? Is that monster game? Exile? No, not Exile. I forgot the name of it, but you probably know. It's like the Left 4 Dead-ish versus monster kind of game. But yeah, it reminded me of that, and it had a lot of neat stuff in the trailer. You know, the diving beneath the water as you're coming out of the air to get some cover. You had the whole co-op aspect of it as well. Co-op's a big thing for me because I do like playing with friends these days on these kinds of games. And playing by myself, I just don't feel as motivated, but when I'm playing with like other people, that whole communal aspect makes me have a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. And the game looked pretty nice. It had the whole McCree ult with the with the Iron Man rockets. It had like, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Iron Man meets McCree and all this kind of stuff. It looked really interesting, though. It looked really interesting. And, they showed quite a bit of gameplay to it as well, meaning, you know, they're pretty along in it. So hopefully that'll come to PC. I would expect Anthem to come to PC. You know, I don't want to buy an Xbox One X just to play that game. It's probably, they're advertising like the whole 4K aspect of all of that, and you know, I don't think that frame rate's going to be 60 per second on a console, even with the Xbox One X. It's just going to limit it to 30 unless you have it in 1080. I don't even know if they're going to have it in 30 and 1080. You know, you can't rely on consoles for that kind of thing. 60 FPS is kind of important to me nowadays. It feels better. I'm nitpicky about that. But yeah, Anthem looked really fun. It looked, I would have liked to seen more about like customization and all that. The kinds of suits you can get, the kinds of weapons. I hope it's not like going to limit you to, you know, maybe 10 different weapons and, you know, 3 different suits and call it amazing customization when only thing you got is like 15 different things, you know. But on the surface though, it looked amazing. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, that's my top 5 best of E3, guys. You know, I might do a top 5 worst. I don't know. I'm looking forward to the PC show tomorrow. I think it starts at like 10 a.m. Pacific or something like that. Also looking forward to the Sony press conference as well. But yeah, the Xbox One X actually knocked it out of the park for me. I thought they had a lot of good games. There was a few things. The Last Night or something. There was one retro looking kind of game that really appealed to me as well, and I can't really remember it. And I was tempted to put that in my top 5, but you know, there was a lot of things I could have put in my top 5. Shadow of Mordor War, Ashen. I thought those looked good. There's like a brief clip of something called Shift that looked pretty interesting to me. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys enjoyed my top 5 video here, and I thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you next time.